Um, oh, good enough, isn't it? Not long to go before 6 years. 6 years of sheer, committed, noteworthy, remarkable, as in to make a remark upon. Ignorance made by people who knew, because to be ignorant you have to know something at least about what you're ignoring. Otherwise there'd be no point in ignoring it, would it? Really? And those who do seemingly ignore stuff that they don't know, they're not ignorant, they're nonchalant. Because they have no idea otherwise. There is a difference. There is a difference between ignorance and nonchalance, as in not knowing or knowing and then choosing not to know. This is what's going to it's tame, very tame, but harsh. If they know. It's tame if they don't know, I guess. Because no one's beating it into them. No one's there to overload them. But they will know, slowly but surely. Well, slowly but surely has happened, yeah? It will kind of all become crystallized very soon, when they understand that their actions, or lack of actions, did hold a lot of stuff up. And it had to be done. It had to be done in order to provide a physical example of the mechanism that keeps everything separated, divided, causes separation and division. And the things which people seem so gladfully, almost, they're boastful, yeah? But people's mindset is under question, is under scrutiny when this becomes apparent, because the ones with the mindset that contradicted or wanted to suppress, diminish, suffocate anyone else's findings, they don't have anything to question, really. They've been called out, and they're visible, and they don't have anything to fall back upon apart from their own shitty, determined value of which they thought they had, in order to try and put down anyone else's perspective or perception of a situation. And people know who I'm talking about, yeah? And some people don't, but I don't care. It's not my fault they don't. And it's not like it's for wanting to learn about this either. This was made apparent years ago. Years and years and years ago. When these people find out that obviously what I was doing was not like making stuff up or being a hindrance to anyone. This was like to promote and to forward, to enlarge and to make better, really, the already existing consciousness of humanity, to regard something else apart from their own selves Now, it's been great because a lot of people have got onto this tip and they realise that no one's there to point a finger at them or say no, 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 and all this, because people who thought that quite often the shallow ones, the ones who, no matter what they think, they're always right, yeah? And even when they're not right, they kind of squirm out of it somehow. And it does show them up, even just for that shitty way of thinking. So this year, June the 1st, yeah? June the 1st is 6 years. 6 years. 6 long, whole years of living here, doing this. And no need to ask, what are you doing? Because some people who say, this is must be like a rarity, this, but like say, look at this video, and they think, what are you doing? Giving out my address, yeah? In short, yeah, giving out my address, and not to become famous or anything like this, right? But just to show people what, because this is a sacrifice. Anyone who gives up their address, yeah, the place they sleep, at their comfort zone, to the public, in order to try and get something out to a wider audience, this is easily understood, even by the most simple of minds. So when these people who are, say, highly intelligent people that can understand so and so, they don't see this. This is where the cognitive dissonance becomes really blatantly, starkly obvious. Cognitive dissonance, and it does parallel with, are they actually really that stupid? Are they that disconnected from the cogs, from anything working to fathom this? Or are they in the position where they actually know, and they selfishly do not want that to happen because of their own mind state, even though more and more people are becoming awake to this fact? And it's not like this woke culture has kind of been given a bad name, innit? And I kind of understand that, you know. It wasn't like I'm woke now, yeah. No, it's just like opening your eyes to certain things which have been there all along, and they did sidetrack people. They wrecked people's lives. Absolutely wrecked people's lives. Just from thinking about it, just from being polluted by the nastiness of it all. It's had to have a big group of people to explain this to other people. Now, when a person is so heavily committed to their ignorance, that even when they have it explained to them by, say, from my point of view, the people who I initially called out explained everything to my so-called friends, and they're not friends, are they? You know, because they ignored that fact and they wanted to stick with their own twisted, weird perception. And this is how easy it would have been, you know, if they didn't do that. Would have been quite good, I've got to say. It would have been buzzing. It would be really, really good. And the tragedy is that it's all there still to show that of why I thought that and why anyone else would think that, through the publications of music and writing and things like this, which are there. You know, people can buy them if they want. I don't get any money from any of them. I'm not expecting any. It's all right. Because what's gone down here is a massive, 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 big case where people have been caught out, and these people I don't physically know. I've no, not like friends or acquaintances even. There are people online. So, and I caught these people out, and some of them didn't like it. Some of them weren't too sure. Some of them knew fully well they were caught. Like the main ones did. And that's the reason why they shut up, yeah? People like Dexter et al. And all this. I know I keep on going on about these people, but it's because no one really took this into consideration first of all. I have to keep on going on about it. And there are excellent examples also of this mind state, of this delusionary mind state that people keep themselves in. And they often tell the next person excuses to undermine the reason of my intensity. So they'll say, oh, he's just fucking mad, or he's just a conspiracy theorist, or he just still loves someone and he's gone mad. And it's like, this is as far away from the actual real truth as possible. And I'm like, you really think that? Are you just saying this to stall or something? Because it wasn't as if they were against me, first of all. As naive as I was, yeah, I did think that these people would actually get it in the end, as in my close friends, would actually understand what they're doing, and they did everything great, everything brilliant, up to a point of where they had to consider that this was like quite heavy information, and that what they've been involved in exposing was something else. And they did a good job until they effed up, as in not realised this was a case. And because of that, they've shown to people how much they've thrown away by ignoring and countering this consciousness, countering this, the heart chakra, the heart consciousness, the Christ consciousness, the Krishna consciousness, the consciousness which people have so heavily tried to bury, tried to ignore and thwart and stop the evolution of the heart consciousness. And that's the reason why people are feeling a bit in their chests, feeling a bit like they're going to have a heart attack and stuff. It's because they're blocked. And people can't even correlate the physical effects of this to their spiritual and mental effects that they're going through. If they were to allow it to flow, then they wouldn't have that chest pain. And I found this out years ago, because I thought I was going to have a heart attack. They really do. Until I spoke out about certain people, and it was immediately relieved. Now, if it did have a serious issue with my heart, I probably would have been dead by now. But I knew it was more of an etheric sort of energy thing. So, I remember on the 1st of June, it's 6 years, 6 whole years of giving my address out, being really vulnerable and providing the means for people to understand why. And it doesn't come down to, I want to become famous or doing it to try and show off or anything like this, like what people say. It's really sad that people honestly just rest their conclusion on that. And that's like, I did try and warn, but you can't warn these people. You can't warn them because they just. Even when you try and do the reverse psychology thing, you sort of say the opposite, so they'll just do the opposite as well. Even then, they're like dodgy, man. It's really dodgy because everything was all set up ready for it to become pop, like, and they would not have it because they would have realised that there was quite a group onto them, not just one person. So that when that one person actually gets attacked and shut down and cancelled by people who he thought was on his side to bring these people out of the woodwork, that's dodgy. So they can't even like put themselves in the reverse position, as in like my position to have a look at this. I don't know why. I mean, they're intelligent. That's what they say they are anyway. They're supposed to be the most intelligent people on this earth. And it's like, are you? By the way, I'm not a violent person, yeah? At all. But I've had a heck of a lot of violence targeted towards me because of things which just ruffle people's feathers, you know. And even then, the people of empathy don't see it. In fact, the people who are narcissistic see this more than the empaths, which is pretty funny. And they also see that this is valid. Strange as it may be, the narcs understood this better than the empaths in society, in so much of a way that they realised this was beyond their narcissism. And certain top-end narcs have had to kind of explain it to people, as in the empaths and the norms and all this, of how the narcissistic dynamic works in society by keeping things down information-wise. And there's some good ones out there. I've got to say, there's only one good one. Well, there's a few others, you know, but my favourite is H.G. Tudor, I've got to say. And yeah, he's done a righteous job. Still doing it. It's brilliant. And then you find that the people who they don't like listening to this guy, even because he's so spot on with it. They get put off by his voice or accent, the fact that he's kind of exposing people. The fact that people knew was pretty strange. You know, people saying, "Why are you exposing us?" That's what I've learned. Anyway, I don't talk to him like directly, but he knows of me and I know of him, type of thing. And love him to bits. Love him to bits. No, I do. Yeah. Enough about history. This is about me now, and my understanding of this is that it's shot to bits. And also, in doing so, in that sense, it's been reassembled, and it's stronger than it was before. And that's like a person's mindset and their position to clarify and to be justified in their conclusion on things. As sketchy as it was back in the day, it's really solid now. And it's not necessarily me that has to bring this solidification into people's mind space or their visual space to look at or to read or to understand, because they had that opportunity all along and they denied it, yeah? And they heavily denied it up to the point where they would attack a person in order for them not to fully comprehend this. They kept up their incomprehension by physical means, going nuts, making noises and talking over people, or even to touch a person in the wrong way, which they did too. Yeah, very much so. And it's like, why are you doing this? Because this is beneficial not only to me, just for you to understand. That's the last bit of it, really. It's like, this is beneficial to society as a whole, humanity as a whole. And still they did not get this fact that's prevailed. And now they are the sitting ducks. They're the ones who are the ones who ignored and purposefully disconnected, the ones who diminished and did their best to try and say that someone else was wrong, even though the other person wasn't being like right and wrongish. It's more of a guidance thing, and then it gets to the point where people attack you, so that it does become a right and wrong. Then you don't attack someone for trying to tell you something of worth. That's wrong. That's wrong. You know, people say there's no such thing as right and wrong. Well, there is, in a sense. If you're trying to tell them something that's worthwhile, that's beneficial to them and their family and their whole existence from now on, you don't attack them, because that's fucking stupid. Excuse my language. It really is. So that would essentially translate as being wrong. You're wrong. People say there's no right and wrong. It's like, well, there is a right and wrong. If you say a word or spell a word wrong, then you're wrong. If you spell it all wrong, it's wrong. It's simple as that. And trust me, the Almighty, the Grand Creator, it really does love people pushing the boundaries of this. Individuals who are aware of their sovereignty and aware of that fact, where they are the envelope pushers, they're boundary breakers. Not necessarily by infringing upon people's boundaries, but just by supplying the means to go well beyond that people's boundaries without breaching any. And then people can get there themselves on a mass scale. This is all there. So this year, June the 1st, there'll be a 6-year anniversary of myself, putting my address out online, but no one does. To remind people again about that. This is where the cognitive dissonance comes in. It's like, it does get quite creepy. I've got to say, when you supply all the evidence up to a point where everyone's like, yeah, okay, yeah. Up to a point where, look at this now, I'm going to expose myself, put myself online, something that you'd never do, talking about anyone else really, in order to get this across to people. So watch this now. I did that and they're like freaked out by it. I'm like, what the heck? I'm putting myself on the line here now to get out information that we've kind of agreed upon, because I thought we all resonate the same way, but I didn't realise that people are so sneaky And people just say, yeah, okay, yeah. And they don't really mean it. Yeah. So that was a big eye-opener for me. This is what's incredible about this is that people denied their own worth, their own evolution, just to keep with an old mental attitude of that's obsolete. And it's becoming obsolete more and more through society and by people who put stuff online to show this. Now these people are choosing for themselves not to look at these things, and when more and more of the external information is geared towards this way of thinking, as in my way of thinking, as in like being totally acceptant, totally willing to understand this, and then other people are heavily against it because of their limited mindset. This really does make them stick out like sore thumbs. And they don't like this fact. So what they do, they become very violent. Violent, yeah. This is what I'm saying to people. It's like, it's quite dangerous what I'm doing, because people have got to the point where they can't understand what I'm doing, and they have no inkling or even like they don't even have a desire to understand what I'm thinking, so, or what I'm saying, which is the truth. It's like worldwide sort of thing. People not notice the sort of change over the years of this mental state that people are in, to accept or understand or come close to even accepting it and understanding. People have consciously, purposefully and intentionally gone against this and put things there to really mess people up who are speaking their truth. Now this happened to me, like I said. Like people can know fully that this happened. So the 1st of June this year, 6 years. And bear in mind, people, and this goes out to say, if you look this far at any of the narcs, at what the compo, the comp, not competition, but some sort of feedback of people, and the amount of money that's going to flow from this truth, they would all of a sudden change their minds. And it's good that it's taken 6 years, because the ones who would have changed their minds so quickly are out of the equation too. They can't really do anything. They can't even say, "Oh, I changed my mind now. You were right." They can't do that. Even it's not mad, but it's brilliant how the universe has done this to people, in order to separate them, to divide them for the better, as in like divide people from people who really do mess things up for people. Because they're unsure or they don't understand their way of thinking. They're all becoming apparent. Anyway, my website is operationhedgehog.wordpress.com to explain more of this. There are loads more stuff to put on there, loads of new stuff, and some old stuff as well. But it does give provide the mechanism or the foundation for people to actually understand this, and that people did pay for a privilege, which was a mental, psychological power that they presumed that they had over the next person who didn't have that. And that's been blown out of the water. So, that's the reason why I don't get that many trollers anymore. Because even the trollers know not to troll. Yet there's people who do commit themselves to their limited perceptions. And this is what they're going to have to explain to the next person, not me, but their immediate family maybe, or friends, whatever, whoever else they so boldly broadcasted that someone else was wrong. And for other people to, because they don't want the intensity. They don't want to get involved with like an argument. They just go, okay. Enable them in order to think that way, carry on thinking that way. And like I said, this wouldn't have happened in places where there's no gun laws, because people would have shot each other by now. So this is why it had to happen in Britain. Yep. That happened in the UK. Everything links up. People, it's not that difficult to link up. Anyway, I go get my tea. I've done my evening meal. Yeah. People got to realise what they've done. And just because you realise doesn't mean you've made it better. The realisation might be the downfall of you, because you realise how much you've committed yourself to not knowing. And it does go beyond the point. 3 years, yeah? So imagine 3 years. Could have done like 2 university courses there, isn't it? Within that time. And I did better than that, I think. Got myself a PhD, if not more than expected, because it's great on the CV. It looks good on the CV, you know. Say if I wanted to become a member of, or employed by the CIA or the FBI and people like that, they're like, well, he's pretty good, this guy, you know. And I'm not just blowing my own trumpet, because they know for a fact I am. And that's through no particular training as such. And that's what's kind of like, well, to them. They're impressed. They're quite impressed by what I've done. Unlike people who do not know. Because people who don't know, they get quite fearful and they become very sketchy and start doing weird things. Like smear campaigns, or even just full-on physical assault. And it's just like, whoa, people are really precious about what they want, what they desire to know, or what they want to learn. And as I said, me, myself, sorry about reverting back to myself, but when it's just this perception I've got, yeah, my own, yeah, is that people who don't really have any external stresses as such, like kids or even family, can choose their time if they do it wisely. What's the point in that fucking side of it? No point whatsoever. You're going to go faster. Anyway, yeah. So people, I was shocked at the levels of people's mindset of how deep it went, or shallow. And the shallow ones are the dodgiest ones, because they're the ones who kind of like choose to lash out physically at people. And I'm pretty glad I'm not like too much of a soft cookie, or a type of cookie. I'm a soft cookie. I bend rather than break. But even then, I've been absolutely tortured physically by people because they don't understand. I'm not like the one to go around picking fights. I don't even desire to be hit. I don't. But people do that because they don't understand themselves. And the amount of times I've been... Of course, if I was to lash back out, I'd probably kill him. I wouldn't be able to stop, so that's the reason why I don't do that. So it's difficult for me as well. People do have to realise this, you know. It's incredible. Anyway, the compensation from 2013 onwards, these people are guilty of twisting a person's mind for their own self-indulgencies or their own qualification of their power and stuff by being a member of a secret society. And I caught them long ago, yeah. And kind of had it in my mind that my friends understood back then, but they did to some extent, but not really. Everything was fiction to them. But now it becomes a reality. Their fiction is like shriveled up and died. It's dead. My reality still stands. That's for now. See you soon.